on, friends? Welcome back to another episode. We've been kind of chilling this week, getting caught up on stuff, getting organized, making a little bit of money. Decided to help out a friend, or some acquaintances I should say, and work on their car. So this is a 1989 735 IL, so it's a long wheelbase, and it has, sorry if the light gets weird here for a second, but it has an M30 B35 in it. But the cool part is, you can see that it's got 30,000 miles. So it's definitely hasn't been cared for the greatest in that 30,000 miles. So like the interior is a little dry, but it's all there. It's cool. I think they paid very little for it. It's what, a 32-year-old car now? I think you can get like a classic plate for this now in Colorado, which is cool. But they bought this recently. Haven't even registered yet. Just has temp tags. And somebody cut the cats off of it. So they took quite a bit. Hacked up like the front section of the pipe where the O2 sensor was, all kinds of stuff. I've worked with them and helped them do this on a cost-effective way, because normally something like that would total a car like this. So what we have come up with is I'm going to sell them some exhaust parts. They were able to acquire some new cats at a good deal, and yeah. So let me show you what we got going on to what we're going to supply. Oh, but also, I mean, it's on M parallels. It's a cool car. It's a cool color. I like it. I'm happy that I can help it stay on the road. So we're out here, and if you guys remember, this is that 535 that I bought recently, and I immediately cut the cats off of it and sold it. But I cut the cats off of it. We got a nice Hamish here, in a much nicer spot. So I didn't get the other one on the lift, but I can show you here. So with the M30s, this becomes one pipe right here, but back here it splits back to two, and I cut it still in that point where it's two, so it's gonna be way easier to adapt. So we got Hamish pulling that section off right now.
Figuring out the bolts that aren't stock.
Are they bolts that aren't stock?
Yeah, there's like, this looks like a 12 almost, and this one, I got no idea.
It is cool, we figure it out. The studs break all the time on BMWs, I'm sure you guys know that. So standard practice is hammer out the stud after it breaks and put in bolt nut of your choice. So factory, they're all 15s, but you know, then they leave. So that's what we're gonna do for the front section. Then I'm gonna weld cats to that pipe. But I have this section right here, which is off of an E32, and it's square pipes, so it's off of a V12. So it has this section right there, because the V12 is a long wheelbase, because in the US they were all long wheelbase. So it should bolt right on. What I am gonna get though, and when I cut this, I cut it on this side of the flanges, so I can weld new pipes straight to there, and the exhaust will still unbolt, and it'll almost be factory. E32 and E34 share the exhaust mounting, and pretty much the entire way that it mounts. They're different lengths, but it's the same way. So that E34 the Hamish is working on still has the rear section, and pretty sure it has good hangers there, in there, and back there. So I might get in there with Hamish. I might wait for him to finish, but either way, pull that, and we can start fabricating an exhaust. This was all set up to get done yesterday, but the cats got delivered, but the guy's apartment complex lost the package. So hopefully they can find it today, and we can get on with it. Another car we did end up working on yesterday is a friend Andrew, Saw Dudes. His 1991 318 IS. That doesn't have a 4-cylinder in it. I don't know if we're showing this car. Oh, I locked it. It has, again, M20 E25. So pretty fucking cool. So got this car running, had like a fuel leak. He was driving it, enjoying it. Not a BMW guy, doesn't really know much about him, but we have rubbed off on him. And it stranded him up in Netherland, a mountain town, about, I don't know, 45 minutes from here. I went and saved him, and we've been working on trying to get it running since. So we have replaced crank sensor. We thought we had fuel. Turns out we don't have fuel, but in that meantime, we replaced the distributor, we replaced the rotor, which were both bad and needed to be replaced anyway. And yeah, we replaced main relay. After doing some testing yesterday, it turns out something in the ignition circuit from the ignition switch, or the ignition switch itself, is what's bad, because when you turn it to on, it's not powering the DME. So that'll be the next step. He's not back again until next week to work on this. We'll get her going. He's pretty inspired by us. He bought this car originally to flip it and was falling in love with it. He got paid $1,900 for this car, so it did really good. It's got a 410 LSD in it. It was stripped entirely and had the Momo racing seat that's in my turbo stroker car in it, and we did a switch for that seat for interior stuff so we could put this car together. So he has a pretty cool blue interior, still has black door cards, but blue interior out of a 1984 318. So pretty cool. But he is inspired by us, and we'll be doing a turbo build on this. And speaking of turbo E30s, let's go over here. But if you guys remember Dane's car, I drove it that one day after we put a trans in it. It ended up not being great, but it's here, and Will tuned it.
It's not done yet, but it's already making good power.
Even with this tiny little turbo and a B25 setup with a stock cam, he made some pretty impressive numbers. Yeah, I could spout them, but seeing a curve is always better. So here are the curves. This was Dane's initial curve when Will first put it on. Actually, that one might even have like a little bit of cleaning on it. But you can see it starts building power significantly sooner than my car does, and that has to do probably with a little bit higher compression and a much smaller turbo. But it just fell off. Like it was super lean down here and then super rich up here. It was all over the place. I don't know how he tuned it, Dane, or if he even did tune it, but
he did auto tune. But
this was where Will left it that day. Actually, there was one run that made a little bit more, and let it cool down to see if it would make more, but actually made like 389 before this, but it sat long enough to make the oil thickened a little bit for that run. But Will thinks there's a little more in it, and Dane doesn't really seem to care. He's just like...
There's more in it, for sure. It made 389 last pass, and that was on between 15 and 16 PSI. It spikes at 16, and then it kind of holds steady-ish at 15, because he's on a manual boost controller. But, yeah, I thought he would be like way more stoked about that, but the response I got was...
Yeah, Dane, so...
Come on, Dane!
Give us some excitement.
I thought 389 horsepower was pretty good out of this thing so far. But he wants to keep going, I think, until he has issues with spark. I don't know. That's what he told me. So I guess we're going to keep turning the boost up. We'll get over 400 wheel. I mean, it's already, you know, 10 PSI, or 10 horsepower rather away. So.
And so this is also the same. We had another acquaintance, Johan. You watch videos. You were here yesterday. We hung out. I didn't film any of his car. I drove his car. It was pretty good. Johan's car and this car were on Mega Squirts versus my car on K-Data. But, you know, very similar tuning structure. Will's able to move the map basically over between the cars and then fine-tune them. So it makes it really easy for Will. So if you guys want some sick M20 tunes, just bring it on down. Will can get you dialed in just a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get you in and out in about an hour and a half.
I think he's going to maybe show you Johan's fuel map. So here's Johan's curve. So there's peak numbers.
Well, that's peak horsepower, and then peak torque is over. Yeah, so it made about 420 foot-pounds.
Okay.
435, 420.
So a very similar setup to my car. An eBay GT35 turbo. It's a stroker build. He started with an ETA bottom end though, not a Super ETA. So he actually changed to I pistons. And I don't know what he did, what exact pistons and rods he did, but he did a put together stroker rather than leaving the bottom end alone. So he ended up probably with a slightly higher compression than mine. His manifold design also looks like it would flow slightly better. It looks like way worse to deal with in terms of plumbing, but the runners coming off of the head were much straighter. So a little bit there. But the big difference he had was his exhaust housing on his turbo was bigger than mine. His is a 0.82 and mine is a 0.70. Yeah, so he made it on 15 pounds. So that's what we're talking about, the flow differences. So there was a lot less pressure being built up in his head. So he could make the same power on a lower PSI because it flowed so much better. His car was, though, I drove it yesterday, substantially more laggy than mine. But I don't know how much of that was attributed to his turbo and like plumbing setup, or if it was his diff. So he's running a 293, which all you guys told me to run, and I'm running a 373. And I'll tell you firsthand,
I like your car more.
My car would destroy his car in a race. Unless it was half mile or from a roll, or if he's like already in the gear that he needs to be in, you know. His car falls out of boost between shifts, whereas my car just keeps building every single time. Like I'm never out of boost. So yeah, to each their own. His car would definitely be probably a lot easier to drive on the street. His didn't knock the tires quite as much as mine. He was running a similar tire setup. My car just instantly would just like boost spike and roll, and his kind of gradually builds up as it builds boost. So I'm sure you guys will get to see the car at some point. But I thought you guys like to see that over here apparently everything comes in cycles and it's just turbo M20 time. And I'm gonna talk a little shit on Will, but Will gets in these kicks where this is the best engine, and his current best engine is
dude, M20 turbo all day. Look, hold on. I still love the LS, and it's great if you put boost in it. But dude, for what this is a great bang for your buck motor. Like, if you're just trying to swap it into some cheap little light shit box, something from Japan or something, this is people throw these things away, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can build one of these for $500 pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean,
unless
definitely.
you talk about cam, but yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing. Johan's engine has an aftermarket cam. We don't know the company. He bought his head and cam together, but it's a 272 cam. So his is probably a better turbo cam than my 284 cam is. Mine only builds like that. We need to know like
a lot of that has to do with lobe separation
and
angle.
the overlap.
So we would need to know that.
So we do need to know. But if you just went one for one, if they were the same, mine would make more peak flow up top, which just hurts spool time and hurts the mid-range, which is where you need to get into boost. Once you get all the way up there, the cam matters, but it's not quite as much. Just if you need more flow, you just add some PSI. But yeah, what I'm more talking about is everybody that comes now, we're like, what should I swap my car? Will's just like, M20. There's a dude with like an M30 E24 that came in, Marco. And Will's like, just rip that M30 out, put an M20 turbo in it.
It's smaller, it's lighter, and it makes good power.
So we'll see. We'll see if we can keep Will on the M20 is good.
Hey, to be fair, I've always been an M20 guy. I've never not been an M20 guy.
No, but
I've never been like, fuck these things.
No, but you've also just never been like, dude, these things are fast and they make power.
That's the thing is, like, I always used to tune these on the street. I never took them to the dyno, and I knew they were fast, but I did not realize that they made that kind of power until we started tuning a lot of them on the dyno, and then I was like, oh, these are better than I thought. Like, I knew they were good, but they're like better than I thought.
Still not M50. Like, don't get us wrong. Like, this is, but in an E30, you're not going to keep an M50 cool the way you can keep an M20 cool in these cars. And I mean, it's the engine that's meant to be in the car with the trans is meant to be in the car with the drive shaft. It's, like, everything is supposed to be there already, so it accepts it way better than an M50 turbo swapped car would. And the diffs are way easier to get for the overdrive that's in a Getrag 260 versus trying to swap a ZF in and then find the right. So they're great the way they are, and you don't need more than 400 and whatever horsepower in your 30.
No,
Like, maybe on the drag strip there's enough grip to use it, but on the street or like the racetrack, doesn't matter. Speaking of that, video coming super soon on my car. There's where I blew the head gasket at the duct tape drags in the burnout pit, just being an idiot. We figured out maybe some more reasons why the head gasket blew. I feel like I just did everything wrong that you possibly could, but the new head gasket came in today, and we're gonna rip that apart soon and get it back together. But I want to do a cost build breakdown analysis and everything, like, and I'll include how I acquired the parts, and if you were to acquire the parts, how you would pay differently. But anyway, let's get to some other stuff. Oh, we got the exhaust stuff we needed. I was thinking, you guys have probably never seen this thing run. And it actually does all right. It's got horrible gas in it, but it's been sitting for 6 years and it starts up and it runs. So, pretty cool. This will be the engine that I will be putting in the E23. So, I am stoked on its usefulness. Yeah, this video is kind of just turned into a M20, M30 video, so you're welcome. I know you guys like that stuff. All right, well, I got the E32 up on the lift. I'm underneath it, and this is what I was talking about. So the way they go is it comes to this merge here, that oval. So it's like 2 pipes down to 1 pipe, and then it goes back to 2 when it goes to the cats. It's like an X pipe that they had. So to me, since the chassis are identical in the front between an E32 and an E34, it was way easier just to pull this off. And then bonus, when I cut these cats off, I didn't hit the bung at all. I killed the O2 sensor, but I didn't hit the bung. So we can just pull this O2 sensor out and put the new one in. It's just cut there. And then we still have the mount that goes to the transmission right there that was cut on this one. So we should be good. And then we're going to use the factory mounting locations here. I gotta bolt one of these on to this side, and then it's got this one in here on this side, but there isn't one on this side. So I'm not sure if I should maybe go try and find one, or if that exhaust even has one, but I'll figure it out when I get there. Still waiting on cats, but I thought it'd be good to get this bolted in, so we can figure out the O2 solution, and then also get the back mocked up so that both of those are in place, and then I can just build the center between them. So we'll do that. I got some more stuff going on though, so since Hamish just took this off the other car, probably have him take this one off and put that one on. All right guys, it's the next day. I hung out with Greg from Angry Ass for a lot of time yesterday, and we drank some beer and we learned about some things, and we discovered, I shouldn't say we discovered, we made some plans. So there's going to be some cool stuff coming between DBO and Angry Ass in the near future, so stay tuned for that. You will not be disappointed. I'm underneath the E32. The guy's apartment, I think I talked about this, the guy's apartment complex kind of screwed him on the cats. They ended up sending him back to the sender, so they're not here. Hamish did work though. He got the original header thing off. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over there. Got the new one on. Well, almost got the new one on. So if you look back right there, that has broken studs on both of it. The other one was okay. These studs are threaded in, not pressed in, and they're obscenely long for what they are. So that bolt snapped. So we started cutting the flanges to get in there. Didn't really get it done, but probably not gonna be able to work on this till next week. It's Saturday right now. I think Wednesday is probably gonna do this, so I think I'm probably gonna on Monday lower this down and go park it. For you guys that watched the whole video, I appreciate that. This is gonna be the end of working on stuff. I'm in this nice little lull right now. If you notice, the content isn't quite as building oriented at the moment. It'll come back, but I am gonna put a poll up, probably 2 polls, but the first poll we're gonna do is the next like short-term-ish projects that I should complete. So let's go through them real quick. Great GTR. This might not seem like a short-term thing to you guys because I've let it sit here for, I don't know, over 3 years. But it's really not that far from being on the road. We actually did do some work. We never put the video out on it because we didn't really accomplish anything. But when we went through it, we realized that we're not that far away. There's one connector underneath the intake manifold on the driver's side, but because it's a JDM car, that's the passenger side. Either way. That I neglected to change over to an R32 sub harness, and it's still an R33 harness, and it doesn't plug into the car. So that needs to be changed. It is really hard to get to. So I'm going to, instead of pulling the engine back out of it again, we're just going to pull the intake manifold, either get it polished or powder coated, and get that harness swapped over. And yeah, we should be able to put it together, throw a radiator in it, hook up power steering, hook up drive staff stuff, hook up brakes, and buy a battery. Should be able to go ripping with the exhaust on. So I'm gonna call that a short-term project. Let's go look at some other ones. We got the 6 Series. This has been sitting since Grid Life. If you guys don't know this stuff, this is my 2004 645 CI, and it has 6-speed manual. It has E60 M5 brakes and diff and twin disc clutch, but I destroyed the brakes at Grid Life, and I mean I destroyed the brakes at Grid Life. We have no more pad left on pretty much every single one. I ordered new brakes, so it's just putting those on. Actually, I'm not gonna put that one in the poll. The poll is just gonna be on YouTube, not like in the comments of this thing. You can comment on it if you want. I'm just gonna get that done. I already bought the brakes. I'm just gonna do pads because I'm cheap, and we'll go from there to get that one ripping again. The V12 for short-term easy projects. This engine leaks a ton. This shock is blown. This engine also seems to only run on like 10.5 cylinders. I have an M70 sitting on a stand inside with low mileage. Yeah, so we can pull the engine out, put a new M70 in it, and just drive it again. And then we can decide, you know, later if we're gonna do M73 stuff or not, but I would just like to get it better. I'm actually thinking I might drive this home today. This one will be more of a medium length project, but still not too bad. This is the S52 swapped 4-door E30. It's just been sitting. The more work side would just be finishing the interior. The dash is just kind of in there, just sitting. I need to do that. But this is pretty much just a wiring harness adapter away from running, hopefully. So I'm sure we left some stuff loose underneath, so this one will be on there. Just give you an update on the giveaway wagon. It's still right here. Still waiting on key stuff. Still working on it. Greg, Boost Monkey, has been an enormous help for this. So I'm gonna get back on that, and we're gonna start working on this as well. Oh, we got Tinky Winky. I'm just gonna get Tinky Winky running again. There's not really a whole lot that needs to be done for wild stuff to get it to go. The starter just doesn't work anymore. It's just annoying when you turn the key, it doesn't work. I'm just gonna wire a push button connector in it so we can just start it like that. This car had a 410 LSD in it. I took that out and sold it. So I don't know what it has in it. It might be like a 293 or something, not very good. So I'm gonna work on getting a diff for this car. And then some stuff kind of got messed up. The last time we drove this was at a drift event, and you know, stuff moved. And it doesn't have a power steering cooler and some other stuff. I have all of the parts that we need to fix this, and yeah, it'd be cool to get this one back going again. So that'll be in the poll. What else is more on the easier level? So the reason I'm saying easier is it's going to be like low capital, like doesn't need much money to get it going, and won't take a ton of time, like won't take a month to get done. Like most, worst case, it takes 3 or 4 days, and that's where I want to be now for a car project. I like to get this M5 going again. This just needs a little bit of front steering stuff hooked up, just cleaned up a little bit, and it needs an exhaust. But I would like to get this car going again. It's legal, it's registered, it's insured. I might as well use it. The A4 is probably really easy for somebody that does Volkswagen stuff, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So if we decide to do this one, I'm going to try and enlist some people. If you guys don't remember, this is a B5 A4 with 1.8T, but it has a rebuilt engine with some more improved stuff. It has cool coil conversion and a cooler turbo. So it would be nice to see what this thing makes, and if it's a fast, fun car. If you guys are big Audi fans, I am probably just going to sell this car when it's complete though. I would not be building it to own for a while, just building it to get rid of it. And this is probably the last one. So we've got the E92 335i 6-speed rear-wheel drive, big single car that I never finished, but we have all of the parts now to finish. It's pretty much just, we need to do brakes, we need to do a clutch, and we need to do port injection. And then I don't know anything about the process really, but we need to do like MHD so we can get it tuned, and then this thing should be done and rip. That will be in the pole. I think that's it. There's also the white GTR, which is at my house in the garage. Runs and drives, but needs fuel system and a tune. So, and the Hikest doesn't work. I'm doing the gray GTR first. I'm not doing the white GTR before the gray GTR, so it doesn't matter. But, and I think that should also be a little bit longer term project. I want to like make that one really nice. So we'll probably put the pole up at the same time as this video is done. And yeah, vote on the poll, please. And it's just going to be in order. So if like the one you want done doesn't win, still vote for the one that you want, because I'll just do it in order of, you know, highest to lowest votes. They're all going to get done. I'm not getting rid of any of them right now. Just, yeah. But thanks for watching. A lot of talking video. Nothing cool. Did you guys see the video with Hamish's new wagon? So you guys said he needed a wagon.
It's so sick.
And he got one. It's 530 IT. So either click that video or be stoked for it that it's coming up. So
be stoked.
Pathfinder's gonna get some love too. I bought the window for the other side. I bought the front shock for this side, and I want to start figuring out a front bumper solution so that I don't have to deal with this. I'm thinking maybe get a Frontier front bumper. They only go to like right here, and then they have metal from there down, or get a Frontier front bumper and just keep just the top part, and then buy like one of the off-road metal bumpers for the bottom. That fixes the front, but they don't really sell anything for the rear. So maybe we build something or something. I don't know. Maybe I also just find a parts car that's silver, because I've now damaged here and here and here and here and here and here. So I don't know, if I can just find a silver car, that would be cool. I don't want to spend a lot of money, but yeah, a little bit of might be okay. Thanks for watching. Please take the time, please vote in the poll, please like this video, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.